Welcome, huge movie fanatic Nate, stopping on by. This time I'm coming at you for a movie review. I'm coming your way to review the movie from 1998 by the name of Virus. Now I can remember seeing trailers for this back in 98. I don't know what the hell I would have been seeing in the theater in 98. Probably not a whole hell of a lot, but yeah, I was seeing some stuff in 98. I can't remember what the hell I was seeing in 98, but I remember seeing the trailer for this in 98. And can I say 98 again? Um, I don't know when this came out in 98. There it is, 98. But it came out in 98. I remember thinking when I saw the trailer, you know what, I'll probably just blind buy the DVD. It's not worth for me going to the theater to see. Turns out when it did come out, it might have been the week it came out, the day it came out, but when it did come out on DVD, I did blind buy this DVD, possibly this very one right here, either on release day or release week. I remember blind buying this and thinking, you know what, it's probably going to be worth the blind buy. At the time I had, 5.1 already. 1999 came out on DVD. I had the 5.1. When the hell did I get I think I got the 5.1 Dolby Digital receiver in 98. So I was excited to watch this in the 5.1 Dolby Digital sound, and being a fan of stuff like this, what intrigued me about this movie is it kind of just seemed like a really fun like B movie, a B movie idea, So I went for it. Didn't hate it. I kind of liked it. I never loved it. I don't think it's a movie that you can ever really love, but it's right. It's right around there. It's kind of like mostly good, but kind of dumb, and I'll let you know how I feel about it as I do the review. So let's start the review. 98, just kidding. But anyway, so if you don't know anything about Virus, I wanted to wait until at least 2024 before reviewing this movie to not get in any trouble. Just kidding. But anyway, I should have reviewed it before 2020, but I'm doing it after 2020. But anyway, this movie is basically about it. It starts with this like Russian ship and Russian. Oh, by the way, it should be said that the whole thing that prompted this review is I recently found this at Half Price Books for $3, the DTS DVD of Virus. That's what prompted this review. I got the, if I can find a DTS DVD for cheap, which this was, I figured go for it. And that's, of course, I watched this on the wall projector with the DTS sound, and how cool is that? I'm going to do a video showcasing both of these and the differences between just freaking normal DVD and DTS DVD of Virus. But it should be said this movie is produced by Gale Anne Hurd, who's the former, I think, lover, girlfriend or whatever the hell she was to James Cameron. She did some James Cameron movies, of course, and after they split and, she got dumped for whatever, Miss Titanic, daughter, chick, whoever, then she continued to do movies herself, and this is like a sci-fi horror, if you will. And what's really cool about this is, if this came out now, it'd definitely be PG-13. What's great about this is it's rated R, so you got a decent amount of violence and kind of nasty gore in it, which is interesting. So the premise, very briefly, just starts with this Russian space station and Russian ship. They're just talking to each other and this and that, and the one chick, the only thing I think I've seen this other woman from is Marked for Death, but she does this really cool kind of, I'll probably put a picture of it. It's too funny and sexy to not put a picture of it, but she does this, chess must really turn her on because she does this super sexy face while playing chess, and she's playing chess with the guy. She's on the planet Earth in the ocean on a boat, and she's playing chess with a guy in some Russian space station, and she makes a move and she just gives this look in the camera like, ooh, I don't know, like, just like she's turned on, just super sexy face look. It's funny. But anyway, long story not so long, the Russian space station gets, invaded by this space electricity, which just, floods all over the space station. They're just coincidentally going to send down some information, so the sender, what's this called, little dish, the sender dish is already positioned just perfectly in time for the space electricity to invade the space station and zap it right down to the ship on planet Earth on the ocean. And blah blah blah, that's big, explosions and this and that. Presumably everyone space station's dead. We never know, but I'm assuming everyone on the space station's dead. We never find out. and screaming ensues with the chick, you know, from Marked for Death on the planet Earth on the ocean, and the Russian ship, and fades to a big, huge typhoon, hurricane, and we cut to this other ship, this tugboat, captained by what the hell's his name? The Donald Sutherland is in this movie. He plays the tugboat captain, and incidentally, his character is kind of cool. And the scene where he's gonna shoot himself, I think, is just the best scene in the movie. The scene where he's going to shoot himself, and he looks at a picture of himself as a younger man, for real, younger Donald Sutherland. He's like, "I let you down, lad." And that scene where he's going to shoot himself is really a fun scene. Just the way it's done, you know. They knock on his door, and he's got the gun pointed at him. He's like, "I'm busy." You know, and he's like, come look at this. And he's like, "I'll be there in a minute." I love how he takes off his hat. I bet you anything that was his idea. That touch of taking off your hat before you blow your brains out. Oh, so the best scene in the movie is probably the Donald Sutherland character, you know, and the you know, in the steps, the steps attempting suicide leading up to it, and then at the last minute, you know, he decides not to, which is funny. And but anyway, that's the best. Once you've seen that scene, turn it off. Just kidding. But I mean, I do think it's like just probably the best scene. But what ends up happening is Donald Sutherland's got like all this. He must he put everything he owned on this cargo he's towing with this tug through this hurricane. He ends up losing all of it. The tug, you know, disconnects from the cargo on this other, you know, barge you're pulling behind him, you know, gets disconnected and sinks, and he's like, oh, and that's his whole life savings, so that's why he's going to kill himself. They go to the eye of the hurricane, which is kind of a cool plot point. You know, the majority of this movie takes place there in the eye of the hurricane, so it's all calm and stuff, and they end up coming across the Russian ship, which got zapped at the beginning of the movie by the floating alien electricity, space electricity. So that's what, you know, he's like, oh, a ship dead in the water on the radar. Maybe I won't blow my brains out yet. We'll see what's up with this. Could be a salvage. Oh, it should be said, I didn't even mention it, that Jamie Lee Curtis is in this the same year she did Halloween H2O. She had two big movies the same year. I don't know if this came out before or after H2O, but this was the same year as Halloween H2O. Big year for Jamie Lee Curtis. Also, William Baldwin, and the picture of him on there, it doesn't look like William Baldwin. It kind of doesn't look like anyone. It's a horrible picture of William Baldwin. You see what I mean? It doesn't capture his red eye right in. Oh, never mind. But no, I'm just kidding. That's the picture of William Baldwin, but it's still a horrible picture of William Baldwin. You know, one of the Baldwins who was Baldwinning in the 90s. You know, probably he's most famously known for Backdraft, I would imagine. But I gotta admit, watching this again is just like, I kind of missed the Baldwins. Like, you know, what's his name? William Baldwin was kind of a fun Baldwin as well, in the good old, you know, 90s, and the Baldwins. But so the main stars are Jamie Lee Curtis, William Baldwin, and Donald Sutherland. So they come across this ship, and just like so often is the case with movies like this, I really think like the first half, kind of like with Leviathan, I think the first half of this movie is really, really, really strong, and how, you know, how the main characters and stuff are learning stuff as the movie progresses, and they go onto this Russian ship, and the power's all shut down, and it's just like a ghost ship, and they kind of wonder, why is the power, you know, why is the power all shut down? When they turn on the power, we realize, oh, it's because they had to turn off the power to stop the, you know, what ended up happening, as we come to learn, is the space electricity that, you know, zapped the Russian space station and shot it down to the Russian ship. It's like this space energy consciousness, which is now taking over the computers, and this Russian ship happens to be outfitted with, you know, high-tech robotics, which just by coincidence, I mean, that's a little bit of a, whatever it's called, a storytelling liberties being taken. Just so happens to zap down, out of all ships, out of all boats on the planet Earth, it zaps down to the one connected to, you know, or that's got a lot of high-tech robotics on it, just by chance. But it basically takes over the robotics, and it proceeds to kind of make this robot slash human hybrid, you know, physical entities out of the high-tech robotics that is featured on the ship, and we kind of learn that after the fact. The hot chick from, the Miss Sexy Face, I get turned on by chess, playing chess with a guy in a space station chick, is the only one who survives, and she tells them, the crew of the tugboat and the viewers, all this information. Really kind of a cool idea for a movie like this, and done relatively well. It only begs the question, like the robots kind of, they kill humans and kind of combine robotics with organics, body parts and stuff. And it's kind of like, there's really no, if you think about it logically, there's really no point to do that. Like, it's just kind of for the purposes of the movie and the nasty horror gore aspect of like combining, human bodies with robotic bodies. It makes no sense at all. But it's cool as a gimmick, a horror movie kind of sci-fi movie gimmick, and the gore aspect or whatever is entertaining or whatever. And but in reality, I mean, where's the, if you were some super smart frickin' space electricity floating through space, like, and you have this opportunity to like, create your own robotic bodies and stuff, like, where's the advantage of like intermingling the robotics with organic flesh and blood of people? Like, there is none. It's just for the cool, sci-fi and gore, horror gore aspect of that it brings to the screen, which is really kind of cool. Early on, William Baldwin's friend guy ends up dying and shows up later as like a, turned into a still kind of robot, but or still a human with like robotics inserted into him. And I will say, like, the images of some of them, humanoid robots turned in, humans turned into robots, whatever, and just kind of, are kind of scary in the darkly lit hallways of the ship and things. And, just like, and the good old days when they had blanks and guns and were actually shooting blanks and had squibs on things and stuff. We just watched, I don't think I'm necessarily going to review it, but we just watched, well, we didn't get to finish it, we'll probably finish it tonight, but the first half of, Axel, Beverly Hills Cop, Axel F, and of course, I think the days, unfortunately, of like, thanks to the whole controversy which happened with another Baldwin, but I think they were starting to shy away from using actual blanks and guns before that. For sure, like after that, I don't think we're ever gonna see actually guns fired possibly in movies ever again. But the good old days of blanks and guns and just the kinetic, aspect of actually having blanks and guns and shooting guns and real squibs and sparks and, real damage happening on set versus just frickin' computer generated muzzle flashes and computer generated ricochets and damage. It's like the good old days. So watching this was a little bit of a breath of fresh air. And incidentally, the DTS, I don't know if it's technically any better than the Dolby Digital version, but the DTS, you feel like you've gotten a better version when you're watching the DTS disc. And of course, as I'll showcase in my comparison of the two DVDs, you get the really cool very first version of the DTS logo that starts before the movie. Anyone who watched Jurassic Park in the opening week or opening days of Jurassic Park will know what I'm talking about. But yeah, it's a really cool kind of a B movie idea that's done in this high-tech Gale Anne Hurd kind of A movie way, if you will. And I don't think this movie did, very well in the box office at all, which is kind of a bummer. But like I say, the first half is really strong, and the second half for me it turns into kind of like, I don't know, I'm finding this more and more in my older age with these kind of movies. Like, they just wear out their welcome, even though it's only like an hour and 40 minutes. It's just, I do think it's like 10 minutes possibly too long or whatever, but life goes on, it's fine or whatever. I don't think I had this problem with it when I first saw it, like when I first got it. It might be something to do with getting old and codger and old codger, being an old codger. It might have something to do with that, but I think that'll pretty much be it for my my review of Virus. What's really cool about it, and I thought about this when it came out on home video, and I was pondering just blind buying it, is like, it's kind of reminded me of the late 80s with things like Leviathan and Deep Star 6, kind of ocean-based horror story, rated R or whatever, and what's going to happen and why and why, kind of stuff. So it was really cool, like 10 years later, to have another movie kind of in that same vein. That's why I blind bought it, and for the most part, I enjoyed it. So at the end of the day, this movie is kind of just a fun, like, science fiction horror romp of, robotic slash, mingle, combined with, organic human flesh and gore and, a little bit of twists and turns and entertaining this and that and kind of stuff. So it's something that, it just go into it thinking it's like a high-tech B movie from 1998. And your expectations should be very appropriately expected, or whatever you want to say. But my star rating of this movie, I guess I can go as high as 2.5 stars out of 4 stars for Virus. And incidentally, it's kind of interesting, like, well, I won't spoil it, but I mean, you'd think the virus is one thing, but the virus kind of is something else. Like, it's kind of, well, think of the first Matrix movie, and you'll probably understand what I'm talking about. Like, you'd think the virus, when you're looking at the cover art, is one thing, but the title, I mean, I guess it's kind of both things, the thing that you think it is, and the thing that the robotic, whatever, space electricity calls, I kind of ruined it right now, calls man, okay, I'll just say it, what the hell, you're never going to see this movie. The robots call man virus, just like it's a year before Matrix, and the same thing would happen, where the AI robots call man virus again, and anyway, so okay, so there you go. I've done a whole bunch of videos all at once today, and my brain's kind of mush, so I'm going to do my best attempt at doing a quick video at showcasing both of these DVDs and, looking at the differences and things, so hopefully my brain lasts that long. But I think that does it for this review of Virus. It's really interesting seeing Jamie Lee Curtis as young as she is in this movie. She's probably late 30s in this. 20 years after Halloween. I think she was like 18 or 19 when she did Halloween, so she's either 38 or 39 in this movie. She looks better young than she does old. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, we'll catch you on the next video.